Welcome to the D's Life Treasure Show. D has been a power seller on eBay for a number of years. D's goal is to teach anyone who want to learn how you too can become a power seller on eBay. D's goal is to help you to be able to make $100, $200, $1,000, maybe $10,000. Whatever goals you have set for yourself, D is going to teach you how to do that by selling on eBay. Hello, D. How you doing? And first of all, before I introduce D, let me tell you who I am. My name is SB. And hello, D. How you doing?
I'm good. Hello, this is D of D and Life Treasure.
D, before we go any further, I just want to give people a little background on you. This is actually the second show, and for those of you who missed the first show, D, tell them just a little bit about how you got started selling on eBay.
How I got started selling on eBay is that we have two children, and the youngest was a boy, and he left for college, and it was just me and my husband around the house, and we just needed to have some extra income to help our son out in college. So we thought about eBay and give it a try and see what we could sell. And we didn't know what to sell, so we just started looking around the house for a few items that have never been used, which was new items, or some items that may be of value. So we came across a few items, maybe about 4 items. We put them online, did a little research and put them online, and within a week, all 4 items had sold. So that's how I got started doing eBay.
Okay, D. Last week we actually talked a little bit about this particular question. One of the biggest questions people want to ask when they want to get started selling on eBay, and how do I find products to sell on eBay? D, can you just give them just a little bit of recap on how you can find products to sell on eBay?
Well, you can find products, like I say, you can start by your house first. Start by looking in your house, your storage room, maybe even some of your family. Excuse me. And maybe you can see what maybe some of your family members may have. Just start going to yard sales, into thrift stores, and just anywhere. Maybe you find something along the road somebody had put out, and you maybe just want to stop and just look through what was put out on the yard for maybe their trash people to come and pick up. So there are different ways where you can find your items.
Okay, then, D. The first segment we're going to talk about a little bit is we're going to do a little bit expanding on yard sales, and today we're going to talk about yard sales, and that's going to be our first segment. And we're going to be discussing some other ways in which you can source products to sell on eBay, but we're actually going to start with yard selling, then we'll go to other ways. First of all, D, what's the first thing a person need to do when they getting ready to go to a yard sale?
To get started with your yard sales, you want to plan early. And you want to plan maybe a day to maybe 2 days in advance. You want to start researching the internet for yard sales, maybe like yardsale.com. You can pull your local newspaper and maybe community papers. And there's always something in your newspapers and what's online to let you know where your sales will be for that weekend. And you want to start planning your locations, maybe somewhere close by if you're starting out new. You may just want to see what's in your area, what's in your community, maybe within 5 to 20 miles from your home. So if you're just starting out, you want to search within maybe 5 to 20 miles of your home and see what yard sales that are close by. And to your surprise, you may find there may be maybe two or three streets over from you. So yard sales are everywhere, especially in the spring of the year when the weather is starting to warm up and people want to get out a little more. So communities are putting on yard sales, and what I have found that once you come up on yard sales, you're going to come up on maybe two or three. You may find something that's listed online, but you're going to come up into a community where there are community yard sales. So it's multiple families having yard sales. So that's have always been a great thing. So start looking up your yard sales. Get your bags together, tote bags, plastic bags. So when you go to these yard sales, you have some bags to put your items in. And just write down your directions and get up early Saturday morning. Yard sale usually starts about 8 o'clock, and some may start as early as 7. So you want to get there early and get the first picks of the items.
Okay, another thing, and I think I'm gonna kind of take this one right here.
Mm-hmm.
If you find a good yard sale, immediately start to pile up the items and then add to that. Know how much each item are worth and how much you can get selling them on eBay. And before you make an offer on the item, one of the things I like to do, let me go back just a little bit, start a pile. First of all, we know the importance of starting a pile, right?
Yes, we do. And the reason you want to start a pile of items because if you find one item that you may be interested in, and you're going to keep looking at that item and making the decision whether you want to purchase that item or not. So what we have found to work best for us is that we may spot an item that's very interesting to us, and we'll just put it in our bag or make a pile, and we'll let the person who having a yard sale, to let them know that we want to start a pile of stuff, and they too will set aside a little area for you to pile your things up. And once you pile your things up, you just want to take a few minutes before you purchase those items and see if it's worth anything buying, or do you want to take time to put it online, or if it's of value. So it's good to just pile your items up in the beginning of your search.
I remember one time I was taking a lot of time and looking at items,
Mm-hmm.
and I wasn't piling my items up. I was just taking time looking at them. And then other people came along and they selected a lot of the good items that I could have took possession of, right?
They sure did, and I was mad with you because you didn't. And that's at the time I wasn't into doing the yard sales as much as I should have, and I guess I let a lot of items go over my head, and you just looking at one item, and before we know it, items will just disappear.
You're right about that. You do have to take possession of the item, and then you can decide later on if that's something you want to purchase. Mm-hmm. And another thing too, after you after you make your pile up, and you're going to purchase your item, a rule of thumb is this. Basically, this is what I do. I look at the pile of items and I determine what items have I sold before and what have I sold the items for. And then I try and determine the items that I know that's going to sell and what they're going to sell for. Then I'll go ahead and total all of that up. Say for instance, if it's come to $50, then I know I got $50 worth of items, so I could feel real comfortable offering the person $25 for the pile of items. Now if they take $25, I may go up to $30 and they may take $30. Say for instance, if they take $30 for the whole pile of items, then I know that I'm not going to lose much money because I got a $50 profit built in. And plus some of the other items that I'm not sure of, they may sell for a real good price too. And another thing, what's one of the other things that people need to keep in mind when going to a yard sale?
You want to continue with your preparation. This goes back to me saying you need to start early. And you also need to be prepared to have cash on you when you go to yard sales. Because most people who are doing yard sales, they want cash. They are not doing credit cards. You rarely find someone doing a yard sale and they will accept a credit card. But with my experience, I have not come across anybody really we accept credit cards, but you want to have as much cash money on you as possible in the small amount as possible. You want to have some ones, some fives, and maybe some quarters. So sometimes you may find something that can be 25 cents, 50 cents. And if you have the small cash on you, you can kind of haggle with the seller by saying, this is all I have. They may say they want $4 for the item, but you can say, well, I only have $2, but you take the $2. So you can kind of haggle with the seller if you got smaller amount of cash on you. If you put out a 20, the seller gonna say, oh, I thought you only had $2. So you just don't want the seller to know that you may have more in your pocket than you say you have in your pocket. So just be prepared to have small amount of money on you when you go to yard sales.
All right, then, D, I'm going to take the last one. You don't mind, do you, D?
I sure don't.
Okay. Be willing to take a risk on things if they are cheap. And what I mean by that, a lot of times, I know D and I, we went to a yard sale one time, and this guy had this big old box full of items. And he said, every item in this box is only $1. So I immediately ran to the box and started digging through it, and I started finding some things in there. I found one item I knew was worth at least, at the time I said, I know this item is worth at least $20. So therefore I knew that I could get 10 items out of that box, and that would only be $10. And I already had found one item to pay for that, so that was a 50% profit. So that was a no-brainer. So I grabbed that particular item. It was an old electronic game. I think it was a puzzle, and so I got the old puzzle, and come to find out, I was able to sell that puzzle for $89. So I made a nice profit because I was willing to gamble and take a chance on cheap items. And a lot of times you can run across that diamond in a cheap pile. So don't be afraid to dig in there and see what they have. Just because it's cheap don't mean that there's not any jewels in there. And finally, we're going to end our show with this. The last segment we're going to do is we're going to go through these top 5 sales of the week. And I always enjoy doing this. And Dee is going to tell you about her top 5 sales.
Okay, this is Dee. My top sales for the week. I chose 5 items. And my first item, as you can see, is a Tarzan game. Who does not remember Tarzan? If you in that baby boom age, you remember the Tarzan movie. So I am one of those baby boomers, and I do remember the Tarzan movie, the show that came on maybe weekly when I was a child. So I found this game at a yard sale. It's a 1977 Milton Bradley Tarzan to the Rescue game with the 8-man. And this is a used game. However, it is in good used condition. The box was in very good condition. And as you can see, it's a very illustrated box. So, and the box in the game is complete. And this was a very exciting found. I only paid $1 at the yard sale. And most games, when you come across at a yard sale, mostly that's what the sellers are selling games for. They sell them anywhere from $1 to $2, maybe $3 at the highest for a game. So if you can find a game anywhere from $1 to $3, take a chance on it, because you don't know whether how profitable that game will be. So I got it for $1. I listed it for $19.95, and I sold it for $17.95. So that was a big profit. My next item, as you can see, is Halloween time. And you know, kids love Halloween. They love the candy, they love the pumpkins, they love the witches, whatever's out there, the spider webs, spiders. So kids love Halloween. So as you can see, that this is a cute little dress up for a little boy. It's It's a Halloween costume. It's a toddler size costume for a toddler, 3, and not so much for a little boy. I'm sorry, but it just shows a little boy on the picture. But it can be for a little girl and a little boy, and it's a size 3 to a 4T, which stands for a toddler. It's a new item, never been worn, and it's the Heinz ketchup packet. So this would be really cute on some toddler and that loves ketchup, and what little child doesn't love ketchup and french fries. So this is a good Halloween costume. Found this costume at a thrift store, paid $5 for it, and it was sold for $21.95. That's a good profit bag. My next item is a Power Ranger. It's also a Halloween costume, and this costume is for a little girl, and it's pink and white. It's Power Ranger Mega Force Ninja for a child, and we were found at a thrift store. It was $9.95 at a thrift store, and it sold for $34.95. It's a new item, new with tag, so it has never been worn. So my next item is a Wizard of Oz game, and you may remember the Wizard of Oz movie when it came out in the late 70s and 80s. So this is a very good game that I always enjoyed the movie. It doesn't matter whenever it came on TV, I was always glued there to see it. So it's a 70th anniversary. They represent the Wizard of Oz. It's a limited edition. It has a DVD, and it has a book and a watch that represent the Wizard of Oz. It's a collector's watch, hardcover book, 1939 campaign book reproduction. It's a new game, factory sealed, never been opened. So this would be a great item for the Wizard of Oz book. This game was bought at a thrift store for $8.95, and it was sold for $49.95. What a great pick. And my last item is Maxwell camcorder tapes. These are, I'm selling them in a lot, and they are 8mm, 30 high quality films, tapes, and these fit your old camcorders, and people are still using camcorders, but now and they having to, it's hard to find the tapes on them now. So came across them in a thrift store and got those for $8.75. And so when you put things on eBay, people are out there looking because they are hard to find them now in certain places. So people will search eBay for things to see if it's out there, because somebody may have it out there. So of course I put this item out there, and of course someone were looking for it. It's a new item, never been opened, never been used. And like I said, I paid $8.75 for the camcorder tapes at a thrift store, and they sold for $59.95.
You know what? I still have my old camcorder.
You do?
Yeah. If you mean to say you don't sold, is there any more of those tapes left? I was thinking about, breaking mine out. I just didn't have a tape for it.
Yeah. At the time, that's all that we had. I found, but I sold these, and if I come across some more, I'll make sure you have it. But
save one for me.
But this is a good profit margin for $8, from $8.75 to $59.95. So as you can see, everyone, these are my top 5 picks for the week. And as you can see, these items didn't cost much. They, as I see, I think the highest thing I paid for was $9.95, and that was the pink Power Ranger, and then it was the Maxwell camcorder for $8.75. And as you can see, those items had a high value to them, and you don't have to pay much for your stuff, whether you're at a yard sale or at a gift store. So, hope you enjoyed this segment, and I'll be back with you on next week. Thank you for listening to Dee's Life's Treasure. Back to SB.
All right, thank you, Dee. Thank you for tuning in to Dee's Life's Treasure. And we're going to wrap it up with this. Next week, we're going to go into details, and we're going to finish up the yard sales, and we're going to give you some advanced information, some advanced stuff that are going to help you to do a lot of research out there in the field and determine how much something may be worth before you even purchase it. So when you purchase it, you know that that item you will be able to sell that item on eBay. So stay tuned for next week's show, and we're going to wrap up yard sales, and then we're going to actually start talking about other ways of sourcing products. So we hope you enjoyed the Dee's Life's Treasure show. If you like the show, click it and give us a thumbs up, and also tell your friends about it, because we're going to be bringing you more and more information on how you too can become a power seller on eBay like Dee. And we'll talk to you next week.